So, hello and welcome to the next status update of me bringing the automation game world to life in the game Transport Fever 2. So the year is now 1875, and compared to the last update in 1870, a few more things have happened. So let's start somewhere in the middle, because that's the easiest. So here we have a new line from Berlau, which is now a proper non-terminus train station to Karlstadt, and then also this line extending further towards Gasmea, but we'll get to that. Also, in order to go up the hill to Naubad, the innovative Hetvesians have developed something new, which is a steam bus. So exciting new technology. I wonder whether this will catch on. So that means we are now finished with trains in Hetvesia, because these Alps are not suitable for train traffic, because in game terms the maximum gradient for rail lines are much lower than for roads, and all these roads are at the maximum basically of the possible gradients, and then even having these serpentines. So no further trains here, I strongly suspect. At the border to Fruinia, Zalvis also now is a proper train station that goes through, and here we see one of the two trains which is actually full going through, and yeah, there aren't that many more waiting, so that's fine. And this one goes into the terminus station at Marina in Fruinia, where we have plenty of people waiting, because that's where the Fruinia and the Hetvesian coastal connections meet. And here has been some more city growth, I think, spurred on by the extended connections. I can check that. Yeah, so 10% thanks to connections by public transport, and then further 20% each for ample supply with bricks and bread, but I think those have existed before already. And then here in Fruinia, the train line goes all the way now from Viestella past Raikanta, so this is also now a proper train station, to Kalidis, further north to Porteimen, and the Archanans also have been busy, so that now Leningrad and Yelta have a train station, and the terminus is here, because then the overall geography stops being helpful for further train traffic, and even here that was a bit of a chore to place a track around the outskirts of the Archanan basin. There's also been a small new public transport line now from Yelta to Mara via horse carriages at Troikas, because that's now the shortest connection between the capital of Archana, Kronograd, and the other capitals. So to go by train to Mara, then across the Archanan basin to Yelta, and then can take the train all the way from here to Harford in Gasmea. Also in the process, most of the other public transport, so the horse carriages, have died out, so the neon green stuff here in Archana not only goes to Meranio, because that's not really well reachable via trains, because I think fairly well up. Well, it's not that much uphill, but here there is no space for train tracks, and I think Hetvesia has now lost all public transport. So here, yeah, nothing is waiting anymore here, where were those before lots of horse carriages to the other cities. The only remaining public transport here is within the cities, so these light blue lines, which now exist I think in all cities, to move people from and to the station pretty quickly. Meershofen doesn't. This is the tools delivery with almost the same color. Yeah, but Friedheim has it, so this light blue, and also connecting the city that's has essentially been split into by the train tracks, and the same for Zalvis and Marina as well. So back to Archana. where some other things have happened. So they have invested further into trains as well. So now we have a much larger Kronograd main station. So before we had the line down south to Mara, which still exists, and also the line northeast to Delua, which also still exists. So that's the medium green line, but now new is the dark green line here, and that goes into the Archanan basin with a bit of some bridge building. So this one here, and you could theoretically, although this doesn't exist at the moment, go straight from the basin to Delua as well. I might need that at some point, so I always lay tracks that I can easily put more trains on things, and also simply, as you can see with these signals, that I can simply chuck more than one train to it as well, although this needs some more signals here now that I said it. But anyway, to get into the basin from Kronograd, you need some more bridge building. So this was, I think, for the poor Archanan state, rather expensive tunnel. And then we have a line here in the northern part of the basin. So Glinsk is now connected to Kronograd via train, and yeah, we have some people piling up here for the horse carriages to Sarki. I also started building the tracks towards the south, so that will be something for the next 5-year plan. At the time when there weren't any 5-year plans yet, but they probably ran out of money while building all those bridges here, and then the line goes further north to Yanagrad and on to Vashduk, which also has some train tracks placed, but only one is currently in use, but there will be more. So that will be the focus for the next 5 years, so to build the southern route here, so Glensk, Sarki, Novobeskov, Vastuk, and then Volkov, Novobeskov, Yanagrad. So that's the plan in terms of passengers, so that we have the whole Archanan basin connected via trains. And then also build Vastuk into a cargo hub, so that trains will mainly come in from the other side, from the west. So as I mentioned before, this is a bit overloaded here, although this is not as overloaded as it was in the past. But yeah, stuff is still piling up with the horse carriages struggling to get across here. And so then doing that, I can actually start, that stuff is moving, to have a cargo station hub here. This probably then has to move this truck exchange, or the horse carriage exchange, and then Vashduk will be then the sort of hub at this point, both for passenger and for cargo. And also here the public routes have thinned a little bit, not that many, so there are these will become less when there is more stations and train lines. The only thing that might not get any train traffic will be the Tunelova part here, but it's still, yeah, I can probably put a few more horse carriages on here, both towards Vastuk and towards Wilburg. But maybe also when Atzliza gets its passenger station, maybe I'll build a sort of train station here, but let's see once that's coming up. So that will be the two big things for Archana, plus the goal to get machines started, which I haven't managed to do here in the past 5 years. So to get the steel mill running, to get the machines factory running, to produce more lumber to get into here. So the tools factory is running well, producing more tools than currently needed. And also the bricks factory, same here, slightly producing more than needed, so that's fine. There's another steel mill, so one of these two will have to get going to make the machines factory here build stuff, and then to distribute the machines to all cities that need them. So I think that's the update in Archana. That's been it. Fruinia hasn't changed in any way regarding industry, so that's also something for the next 5 years to get the steel mill running. Do they have a machines factory? No, the machines factory I think is in Hetvesia. Yeah, here Tannenstein. So at this point, so that Hetvesia gets the steel from Fruinia, because Hetvesia doesn't have a steel mill, because these two smaller countries, they have to work together. And then that we get Hetvesian machines as well. So for instance, to supply Friedheim and also to supply then the cities like Porto Castelfranco and Meranio in Fruinia that need machines. Gasmea. So first with passenger traffic. So we have now a new train station in Lawston. So this is this was the old one. This still exists. Probably needs some developer buying the land and then developing it, but I've simply kept it for amusement purposes here. This is the new one that's actually being used. And from here we have the line going to Karlstadt. That's a separate line. And also then further west towards Peña, which is currently the terminus. And also here then the terrain gets a bit more rough. So I might leave it here. And that the other cities here won't get a direct train connection. In the other direction, they've also been busy fully embracing the new trains. So we have now a very large half-foot train station, both with passenger and cargo trains. More on those later. I'm actually at the limit for the cargo station, so I will need a mod that I can add more stuff here to the right. So they spend a lot of money to build a train line all the way here through this rough terrain into the Great Plains with some impressive bridge work, and then here towards Ellsbury we have a cargo station. So now we have a very efficient and effective means to get stuff from the Great Plains here to the Great Lakes. Over here, and this is already being used by a train that transports tools from Crafton into the Great Plains. It picks up bricks from the Great Plains to transport here, and also machines are working. That's the other thing. So you could say this was the Ellsbury update, because Ellsbury now not only has the cargo station, it also has a passenger station which goes to Picton, the line, and then Picton also, so that's the Ellsbury train, and Picton also has now a connection for passengers along the same train line here to Harford. So now we have a fast train connection. So here we now happen to see the two cargo trains that happen to be running at the moment. So this one has tools and will soon have machines, and this one has the bricks. So these two goods or three goods unfortunately use different wagons, so that's why we always have one half empty, but this actually helps at this point with these weak locomotives to get here up the hill. So this is maximum gradient, I think. And here behind stuck we have the passenger train that's not that full, but it's probably still swinging in to the maximum extent with this new fast connection. Also, when this gets faster, then we get better utilization of this passenger line. So now this means this construction materials plant supplies cities such as Lawston, which now have tools and bricks. Same for Ochia in Vianta. They also have tools and bricks. Peña as well. Casmouth was already supplied from the north, but now I think all cities that do need bricks have bricks. And same with tools. This might still be in the works, so this was rather new, but here Ellsbury now gets tools from Crafton. And here in CB in the north we have this exchange port where ships are being filled with tools that are then being exported along the northern coast. So I don't think these have taken off yet. They're simply filled then by one ship that goes along the river. So here's the next one coming in towards CB, So this will be there pretty soon, and then these ships will be full, which are almost full at the moment, and then they start distributing tools along the north coast. This bricks factory, yeah, does also well, but that has already been in full swing last time anyway. So that's this, what happened here in the Great Plains. The other thing, machines are now running, slowly starting, and there was a bit of a jam. So that's why we have plenty of steel, lots of tools lying around here, but not much lumber. That's currently sorted out. So that means we have the steel mill running at Winley with lots of ore and coal. Coal comes in from Westport with ships going around this part, and then simply dropping off the coal at this Winley port, and then ore from the north with another train line. So that's another new thing here at the Tollstone ore mine, and then a train line that goes into the Harford cargo station part with a bit of a makeshift construction, so that this doesn't stand in the way of the others. Probably have to revise this, but I probably have to revise this anyway once we get more lines. So as you can see, there is one still unused passenger platform, and that's earmarked for passenger traffic towards Midbury in the north. So it's another train line that goes across mountainous terrain, so that will be a bit of a piece of work to get going. Also, one minor thing that's probably of interest to those playing Transport Fever. So one rather recent addition was waypoints for ships. That's new, and I had to, the first time ever, I had to use them to make sure that all the ships here going north take the left side of this bridge, and all ships going south take the right side, because I had a bit of a jam when when ships wanted to meet under the bridges and were stuck, whereas this ensures decent flow. So that's been a welcome addition here. See one of those jams, but that's then easy to resolve. This is waiting here for the port to clear. So that's that. But yeah, and we have now plenty of ship traffic here towards Harford as well, and I think that's ships waiting to drop off lumber and tools. Yes. And steel, so a bit of a jam here, but I think this will clear once the initial sugar rush is over, which always happens when new industries get supplied for the first time. So here the next plan is to see whether machines actually work properly. So once this is spooled up, they will supply all sorts of cities in other Great Plains, so Picton, Kirkstad, even at the north coast. So these lines already exist, but these will need years to get the machines A, produced, B, carried across to the Aylesbury cargo station, and then from here being distributed either via ship or via horse carriage. I think the furthest is Rensweiler, all the way here. The only machine thing, or machine city in this entire part. So that will take a fair time. Yeah, here, that's I think the only plan for the next 5 years. The passenger line north, passenger lines Picton, Durbridge, Seaby. I think that's worth it. I'll see whether I can cram train line also east Picton all the way to Vilborg. Might have to destroy a fair bit of the cities to place the stations and tracks, which doesn't matter because the cities automatically regrow, and unless you destroy the last building of a kind. So if you destroy the last industry building, then you won't get auto-spawning industry buildings. Otherwise, that's not a problem. So that will be, I think, a bit interesting, both with the terrain here and also this hardly any space to place stations. So let's see whether this will work. Otherwise, I think the last production chain for Gasmea to get going would be oil, and oil coming in all the way from Dalua, except for one oil rig in the middle of the Great Plains. I think the main focus will first be to get machines online for Hetvesia and Fruinia together, and also to get machines online and also to get more bandwidth here with the new train line in Archana across this ridge before we first get the machines online, and then the oil online as well, and also here, as I said, for Archana to get the southern basin route going. So I think that was it in terms of the overview. And as a bonus, let's travel from one capital to the other. So we last time, I think, or the time before, we had a train trip from Bazara to Kronograd. So that wouldn't be anything new. But now let's travel all the way via a public transport from Kronograd to Harford. So that will take a while. And because that's the case, we do that in a separate video.